Today was my wedding day with my fiancé, Ethan, but his wedding party was nowhere in sight. After the 7th call was disconnected, he sent me an ultrasound scan report. Lily is pregnant, and I can't abandon her. We'll talk about the wedding another day. Oh, and Lily is currently running for senior executive at the company. In their elite circle, scandals involving children born out of wedlock are highly frowned upon. So, you can adopt the child. This will solve the child's legitimacy issues and make you appear as a compassionate person. Don't be foolish and mess up such a good opportunity. Seeing my silence, he lowered his voice. I can replace the surgical team for Henry's heart transplant at any time. I scornfully hung up his phone, clutching the $1 billion share transfer agreement Henry had just given me, a sarcastic smile on my face. Henry is part of the city's elite circles, Michael is a top surgeon, and I am an heiress to a prominent family. Everything he had was because of me. Why would I be afraid without him? I immediately dialed the family heir's phone. Come and marry me, right now. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Less than half an hour later, a Rolls-Royce motorcade was neatly parked downstairs. Marcus arrived, dressed in a handsome suit and holding flowers. Grace, the wedding is rather sudden, so I didn't have much time to prepare. Here's a $20 million generous wedding fund for you to start with. Oh, and for the marital home, I wasn't sure what you'd like, so I had my assistant buy a few options. You can pick whichever one you prefer later. Feel free to make any other requests. Even if it's the moon from the sky, I'll get it for you. He gestured to his accompanying staff with a look. Immediately, a large box of cash gifts appeared before my eyes. The staff who had just been working around me each received a large cash gift. Looking at such an eager Marcus, I couldn't help but sigh. What did I ever see in Ethan? I took a step forward and linked my arm through Marcus's. Husband, let's go get married. After I finished our wedding toast, Ethan's phone rang. Grace, I know this is a bit hard for you to accept right now, but what's done is done. Let's face it together. Oh, and Lily said she's pregnant and isn't used to eating out. You know how to make nourishing chicken soup, right? Please make a portion and send it over to her. I sneered and immediately retorted. Ethan, who do you think you are? What gives you the right to tell me what to do? Seeing my hostile tone, he lowered his voice. Grace, come on, don't be so petty. Lily and I are just friends, and it's only right for me to help her. From the other end of the line, Lily's delicate voice intentionally came through, accompanied by a few coughs. Ethan, why don't you stop bothering Grace? You should go back first, or she'll worry. Ethan's tone immediately softened. Lily, you're too kind, always thinking of others. But who's there to care for you? Don't worry, I'm here, you won't be alone. After comforting Lily, he turned to face me, his tone noticeably impatient. He sharply accused me, with a hint of resentment. Grace, I find it increasingly difficult to communicate with you now. What are you playing at? It's not like we're not getting married, just a little later. His words amused me. Didn't he know what day it was? He abandoned me on our wedding day to be with his first love. If hadn't come to the rescue, news of the corporation heiress being abandoned would surely dominate the headlines the next day. Henry's company's stock would definitely be affected. I had originally planned to tell him who I was today, and to transfer that $10 billion contract to him. Good thing I cut my losses in time. I cut him off, my voice cold. Then let's not get married. Let's break up. Hearing me say break up, he was silent for half a second. Ut soon, his mocking voice returned. Break up? Have you considered Henry's ongoing rehabilitation? If it weren't for my connections, could Henry get imported medication? In less than 3 days, you'll be on your knees begging me. I hung up the phone directly, not wanting to hear his vile words. He seemed to forget that he had no tuition fees for medical school back then. If it weren't for the money I transferred to him and secretly hiring top experts to be his teachers, would he have become the revered Dr. Ethan? Absolutely ridiculous. Although I were married, we hadn't officially registered it yet. So, the next day, we made plans to go to the county's office to get our marriage certificate. Marcus said he would get me breakfast, because he'd feel bad if I was hungry. I arrived at the hospital early to wait for him. Unexpectedly, I ran into Ethan and Lily there. From their appearance, they seemed to be there for a prenatal checkup. Ethan saw me first and let out a cold snort. Grace, you just said yesterday you wanted to divorce me, so why are you so eager to track me down here today? I told you long ago, you can't live without me. How long has it been? You've already proven me right. While slandering me, Ethan's hands were constantly protecting Lily's chest. He adopted a protective stance, his movements unusually intimate. I just rolled my eyes, not wanting to interact with him further. What, do you own this hospital? Do I need your permission to be here? Ethan clenched his fists, stung by my words. Lily, however, released Ethan's hand and walked up to me. She pulled an heirloom bracelet from her bag. I recognized it instantly. It was Eleanor's keepsake. I had left it at Ethan's place before, and I didn't know where it went, but I never expected to find it with Lily. She delicately brought it to me, in a fawning manner. Sister, is this yours? It looks quite valuable. You didn't come home yesterday, and I found it while helping Ethan tidy his clothes. I thought it must be very important to you. A curve appeared on her lips, subtly reminding me that Ethan had taken her home yesterday. I didn't really care. After all, Ethan could no longer stir any emotions in me. I reached out, intending to take the heirloom bracelet. But just as I was about to take it, Lily deliberately let go. The bracelet fell to the ground with a thud. Ethan rushed forward, pulling Lily into his embrace. Are you okay? Don't let it scare the baby. My hand froze in the air, then clenched into a fist. Veins bulged on my arm, and rage surged within me. Lily looked at me in fright and quickly explained. Grace, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Ethan, this bracelet is so slippery, I really couldn't hold on to it. I couldn't help but sneer, my cold eyes meeting Lily's. The owes you an Oscar. Your acting skills are wasted if you don't pursue a career in film. Upon hearing this, Lily immediately flashed a triumphant smile at me. Her mouth seemed to form the words, mind your own business. But immediately, she put on an innocent act in front of Ethan. Tears streamed down her face like broken pearls, and her body trembled. Ethan, I really didn't mean to. Grace must have misunderstood me. Looking at Lily, who was tears streaming down her face, Ethan's eyes were full of heartache. He gently wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes. After comforting her, he suddenly rushed to me and tightly grabbed my wrist. Apologized to Lily. I stared at him in disbelief. She was the one who broke the bracelet, yet he wanted me to apologize. I struggled to break free from his grip, explaining myself. Ethan, she's the one who broke the bracelet. You want me to apologize? The more I struggled, the tighter his grip became. His cold and malicious eyes glared at me. It's just a broken bracelet, isn't it? How much could it be worth? I looked at him, feeling utterly speechless. Suddenly, Lily beside him let out a whimper, stumbling and clutching the RB railing. Her face contorted into a look of extreme pain. Ethan, I think I'm having fetal distress. Ethan immediately released my hand and, his face pale, rushed to Lily. He gave me a fierce glare. Grace, look what you've done. If anything happens to Lily, I won't let you off the hook. He frantically picked Lily up, running around like a headless chicken, searching for a doctor. I knelt down and carefully picked up the fragments of Eleanor's bracelet. Before leaving, he gave me a disgusted look. He then deliberately stepped heavily on the back of my hand. Ethan knew how important hands were to a designer, but he showed no pity, instead pressing down harder. This still wasn't enough for him. He lifted his foot and suddenly kicked me away. I lost my balance and collapsed onto the ground. Get out of the way. If you delay Lily's condition, can you take responsibility? Both my knees were cut by the fragments, and blood flowed from the wounds. In that moment, it truly hurt. I really didn't want Marcus to see me in such a pathetic state. I quickly found an excuse and told him to come another day. After a doctor briefly bandaged me, I hailed a taxi, intending to go home. But just as I opened the taxi door, a large hand abruptly yanked me back. My hair was pulled painfully. I turned my head and saw Ethan's terrifying eyes. He gritted his teeth, looking vicious. So you think you can just leave after bullying someone? Lily almost had a miscarriage because of you. My head was pulled, and my scalp felt numb from the tugging. Ethan, what exactly do you want? He scoffed, then shoved me into the back seat of his car. My hands were bound tightly with his tie, tied in a dead knot. Lily is weak right now and needs care. To make up for the mistake you just made, you'll stay at home and be Lily's personal aide. I lifted my head, tears welling in my eyes from the painful tugging. What if I refuse? The next second, my mouth was also taped shut with duct tape. If you'd agree, I have ways to make you agree. Lily sat in the passenger seat, her gaze flickering between Ethan and me. Her voice was weak and filled with grievance. Ethan, maybe just let it go. If Lily doesn't want to do it, don't make it difficult for her. I can take care of myself. Ethan's brows furrowed tightly, his words full of apology. Lily, don't speak for her. If it weren't for her, you wouldn't have suffered so much. She has to yield today. Through the rearview mirror, I saw Lily's triumphant, upturned lips. Because I wouldn't back down, Ethan dragged me out of the car. He locked me directly on the balcony. The bitter cold wind made me shiver all over. "Ethan, let me out, you scoundrel." But he had no intention of letting me go. He said if I didn't admit my mistake, I would spend the night on the balcony. He also took my phone, and my limbs were bound again due to my resistance. Even though he knew I was afraid of dogs, he locked Lily's dog on the balcony with me. I curled up in the corner, trembling uncontrollably. The only thought in my mind at that moment was, "Marcus, save me." A light rain began to fall, and I was also feeling a bit sick with a cold. I completely fainted. When I woke up again, the aroma of food wafted in. Through the glass window, I saw Ethan's busy figure in the kitchen. He used to say that his hands were for surgery, not for cooking like a chef. He used this as an excuse to fool me for years. Yet now, he was personally cooking for Lily. Love and not love were truly evident. Ethan eagerly fed the cooked food to Lily. The two of them looked very intimate. I leaned against the glass window, hot tears streaming down my face. Not for him, but for the lost years of my youth. It turned out that even being with me, he had ulterior motives. When I was in school, many excellent boys confessed their feelings to me. Most of them were attracted to my beauty. So I disguised my appearance, wearing oversized t-shirts every day. I put freckles on my face and wore black-rimmed glasses. Even the most beautiful woman would look a few shades duller after such an ordeal. Only pursued me with enthusiasm. At the time, I even questioned his taste. Under his fierce pursuit, I was finally moved. I never expected he had ulterior motives. I don't know how much time passed before the glass door to the balcony opened. Ethan glanced at me dismissively, his eyes full of contempt. "So what if I locked you up for one night? Why are you putting on an act? I know your body, you're as strong as an ox." He spoke dismissively, as if my suffering was insignificant. "I'm taking Lily out soon to look at wedding photos. I'm helping her fulfill a wish. You stay home and clean up the house." I forced myself to endure the physical pain, trembling as I searched along the cold wall for the phone he had hidden. Before and I were supposed to get married, he always made excuses, saying he was busy and had no free time, which meant we never even took a single wedding photos. Now, he was actually going to take wedding photos to help Lily fulfill a wish. In the past, I would have certainly confronted him and demanded answers. But now, having seen his ugly true colors, all that remained was endless mockery and absurdity. Just then, the phone in the corner rang. I glanced at it, the screen clearly displayed Marcus. In that moment, I desperately screamed inside, my voice hoarse, yet no one could hear me. "Marcus, can you find me? Please, save your wife. If he doesn't find me soon, I can't even imagine what Ethan will do to me next." That fear was practically devouring me. I used my last ounce of strength and screamed at Ethan, "Ethan, you can't do this to me. If you do, my husband won't let you get away with it." Ethan, as if he'd heard a joke, scoffed, a cruel sneer on his face. "What nonsense are you talking about? Aren't I your husband? Locked up for one night and your brain's already muddled?" He chuckled coldly a few times. Then, he actually picked up the boiling kettle nearby and, without hesitation, poured the scalding hot water onto my wrist. Excruciating pain immediately swept through my body. Heart-wrenching screams filled the entire room. Was I going to die? Just as I was about to collapse, the front door was violently kicked open. A familiar and commanding voice rang out in my ears. "Who dares to touch my wife?" Marcus's handsome face appeared before me. Seeing me lying on the ground, barely alive, my once fair hands covered in blisters from the scalding, he couldn't help but well up with tears, trembling as he pulled me into his embrace. Ethan, standing nearby, was filled with jealousy and rage. "Grace, who is this man? Why is he holding you? Get your filthy hands off her." I mustered my last bit of strength and said, word by word, "He is my husband." Hearing me call Marcus my husband, Ethan's face immediately turned deathly pale. "Fine, so you really did find another man outside, didn't you? You pretend to be innocent in front of me every day, but secretly you're nothing but trash." Lily immediately stepped forward, looking like she was adding fuel to the fire. "Grace, how could you go behind Ethan's back and find another man? You always seemed so dignified and virtuous, but I never imagined you'd be so two-faced." She said this while linking her arm through Ethan's. "Ethan, don't be angry. It's not worth getting upset over someone like her who has no self-respect." Then she turned to look at me, a hint of viciousness flashing in her eyes. But, who was holding me, had only concern in his eyes. My gaze met the aggressive duo of Ethan and Lily. Marcus immediately understood what I meant. He gently carried me to the sofa, then rushed to Ethan and grabbed him by the collar. Did you do this to my wife? Ethan, who had just been so quick with his words, seeing Marcus like this, his arrogance immediately deflated by half. He could only look at me trembling, his voice laced with anger and mockery. Oh. So Grace has a backer now, does she? Even a random man will stick up for you. Let me tell you, I won't back down to him. Go on, try to touch me if you dare. Do you believe I'll expose all your scandalous affairs online and ruin you two adulterers? Marcus couldn't hold back any longer. He swung his fist and punched him hard. A trickle of blood immediately appeared at the corner of Ethan's mouth. His lips trembled with fear, but he still talked tough. What, Grace does such disgusting things and no one's allowed to talk about it? Fine, then I'll let everyone see just how depraved you are. With that, he crawled outside the door and started yelling loudly. He kept shouting, everyone, come see this adulterous couple. Soon, spurred by his instigation, a crowd gathered. With just a few words from him, I was painted as an unforgivable sinner. This woman is young and beautiful, but I can't believe she's someone who hooks up with other men. Yeah, what's the point of being pretty if she's just going around flirting? It's a shame Dr. Ethan, a man of his standing, ended up marrying someone so disreputable. Ethan, who was beside me, was being accused. They could talk about me, but they couldn't talk about my husband. Just as Marcus was about to retaliate, I tugged his arm. I stared intently at Ethan's aggressive mouth. Using every last bit of my strength, I slowly walked over. He flashed a triumphant smile, his arms crossed. What? You know you were wrong? Coming to beg for mercy now? I'm telling you, if you don't get on your knees and kowtow to me 100 times today, this matter won't be settled. I caught him off guard, raised my palm, and slapped him hard. His face instantly turned pale, and his previously smug expression froze. After recovering, he started yelling at the top of his lungs. Grace, are you insane? You actually hit me? I used all my strength, and just as I felt about to collapse, Marcus supported me. I glared at Ethan. Ethan, when you say such thing. Doesn't your conscience bother you? Who stood me up on our wedding day? Who made me wait for you at home for so long, GYN with another woman? Not only did you not offer any explanation, but you brought her back and locked me on the balcony to endure the cold wind all night. And my hands were scalded by hot water because of you. Don't you feel any remorse for any of this? Clearly, he felt no remorse, instead letting out a cold snort. So what? No matter what I didn't stoop as low as you, cheating with another man. I'm clearly your husband, yet you call another man your husband right in front of me. Don't you find that disgusting? I couldn't help but sneer, my hands intertwined with Marcus's. I showed off the 10-carat diamond ring he had given me. I'm sorry, but Marcus is my husband now. If you don't believe me, you can check the group chat. There's a video of our wedding from that day. He seemed a bit skeptical and opened his phone with doubt. Seeing the video of Marcus and my wedding on his phone, his eyes widened in disbelief. He muttered to himself. How can this be? You actually married him? What's with this Rolls-Royce motorcade, and how do you have such a massive diamond ring on your hand? I looked him straight in the eyes. That's right. I'm telling you, my life truly began after leaving you. I suffered so much with you before and gained nothing, but now I finally know what it feels like to be cared for. But was still unwilling to give up, insisting I was a gold digger who was social climbing. Marcus stepped forward, standing in front of me, and looked down at Ethan. Grace never needed to social climb, nor is she the gold digger you claim her to be. She comes from a prominent family, she is the corporation heiress. Everyone present gasped. She's the corporation heiress? The corporation, the powerhouse in the business world? Someone in the crowd muttered in disbelief, almost dropping their jaw in shock. He still didn't quite believe it, until he pulled out his phone and started searching for Vance on Baidu. Seeing the face of the corporation heiress, which was identical to mine, he couldn't help but open his mouth, wanting to say something, but it was as if someone had choked him, and not a single word came out. At that moment, I also began to feel unwell, and I staggered back a few steps. Marcus, with a pained expression, picked me up in a bridal carry and walked through the crowd towards his luxurious car. Ethan, having recovered from his shock, suddenly rushed towards me. His eyes were filled with tears. Grace, where are you going? Listen to me, those were all misunderstandings. Lily and I really didn't do anything. But the next second, Marcus violently kicked him away. Get out of the way. If anything happens to my wife, I'll make you disappear forever. Marcus immediately rushed me to the hospital. He used all his connections to bring in specialists and have my entire body examined. Although my hands were scalded, the doctors said it was just a superficial injury. Because I was brought in promptly, and after using their hospital's special medication, I would recover quickly. Marcus looked at me in this state, his eyes full of heartache. He held my hand and stroked it back and forth across his face. I'm sorry, Grace, I was late. I won't let you get hurt again. Seeing his sincerity, I nodded. Just then, my phone rang. I instinctively pressed the answer button. Ethan's voice came through the phone. Grace, I'm sorry, I truly know I was wrong. Can you please forgive me? Also, please don't let the hospital fire me. If I lose this job, I'll truly have nothing left. I still have car loans and a mortgage. Before I could answer, Marcus snatched my phone. Right in front of me, he blocked and deleted Ethan's number. I looked at Marcus, a bit surprised. You did that? I told you, anyone who bullies my wife won't get away with it. It was then that I understood. Marcus, seeing me in Yucca tormented state, was furious and determined to have Ethan driven out of Emerald City. He sent people to investigate Ethan. The investigation revealed several medical malpractices and incidents Ethan had committed over the years. These were violations of medical ethics, so a report was filed with the hospital. Furthermore, during the investigation, it was discovered that Ethan and Lily had been entangled in a complicated relationship. The child Lily was carrying was none other than Ethan's. Hearing this news, I wasn't particularly surprised. From his attitude towards Lily, it was clear there had been signs of a clandestine affair long ago. I just hadn't been willing to admit it to myself. Ethan's two-timing actions were forwarded in all the major hospital group chats. He was quickly fired and labeled with the crime of two-timing. Marcus held my hand, his eyes sparkling. Grace, let's go get our certificate immediately after you're discharged. It was the first time I had seen him so serious, and I managed to smile. What, is Mr. Vance worried I'll run off? We've already had our wedding, it's just a piece of paper. He nestled into my embrace, acting playfully. Ours is too outstanding, people are always after her. I want to make our marriage official. Marcus, acting so adorable and playful, was indeed quite cute. He suddenly pulled out a photo from his pocket. The person in the photo was me at 17 or 18, with two braided pigtails. I asked him, a bit surprised, how do you have this photo of me? It turned out that many years ago, Marcus had already fallen for me. Marcus came from a wealthy family and was handsome. Logically, he shouldn't have lacked women, yet he turned out to be a pure-hearted young man. My heart felt warm, and I vowed never to let him down. Meanwhile, Ethan at home was as anxious as a cat on a hot tin roof. He had lost his job and was now under investigation. Even sitting next to him felt like an eyesore. He grabbed a nearby liquor bottle and started chugging it. Once he drank too much, he would furiously rush over to Lily. Grabbing her by the collar with both hands, his eyes were full of rage. It's all your fault. If you hadn't tried to seduce me back then, how would I have gotten involved with you? Now I've lost my job and been labeled an unfaithful scoundrel. It's all because of you, you wretched woman. I was truly blind back then. For a wretched woman like you, I missed out on Grace. She's the corporation heiress. Do you know what that means? It means I would have soared to success, instead of being with a woman like you and having nothing. Lily was so frightened she kept sobbing beside him, terrified of angering Ethan. Once quieted down a bit, she, still tearful, stammered, Ethan, no matter what, the child in my belly is yours. Ethan became even more enraged upon hearing this. He kicked Lily to the side. Shut up. Who knows what you've been doing overseas for the past 3 years? Were you sugar-babed by some man overseas and came back pregnant to find a sucker? Let me tell you, I, Ethan, am not so easily fooled. If I find out you're lying to me, you and your child can go to hell together. Ethan suddenly grabbed a nearby photo frame and violently smashed it in front of her. Fragments splattered onto her, instantly cutting her face. Yet, she could only whimper and cry beside him. Half a month later, my body had almost fully recovered. That day, I changed into the beautiful dress Marcus had prepared for me. We arrived at the county's office together. Just as we reached the entrance, a tired, haggard figure appeared before us. He rushed over frantically. Grace, don't register your marriage with him. You're my wife. Let her go. Get your filthy hands off her. Don't touch her. Facing such a frantic Ethan, Marcus, surprisingly, remained exceptionally calm. It was as if he was fully prepared. With a flick of his finger, 2 bodyguards rushed forward. They immediately pinned Ethan to the ground. Ethan was held firmly to the ground, kneeling. He kept sobbing, tears streaming down his face. Grace, I'm sorry, it was my fault back then. Can you please forgive me? Although I was intimate with Lily, it was only once, and I was seduced. It happened when I was unconscious. My heart truly loves you. My career has hit rock bottom now, Grace. Can you please talk to Henry and ask him to help me transfer to another hospital? I looked at his unfeeling face and couldn't help but sneer inwardly. I couldn't believe that even now, he was still trying to exploit my family's background. A new concept was now etched in my mind. Relationships where social statuses aren't matched should truly not be entered into lightly. I coldly rebuked him. Shut up. I don't want to hear your explanations. The man I'm marrying now is Marcus, and he's the one I'm registering with. Please don't bother me again. Grace, listen to me, listen to my explanation. Henry's surgery still needs me, doesn't it? Only I can perform this surgery. Just give me one chance, and I'll do Henry's surgery well, and then we can get back together, okay? I gave him a contemptuous look, wanting him to sober up. Without explicitly saying it, I guess he'd forgotten how he managed to get his position in the first place. Being expert in name only for a few years, did he really think he was a true expert? Ethan, are you dreaming? Do you think you're the only one who can perform that surgery? Let me tell you, Henry is the head of Vance, Michael is a top surgeon, I am the corporation heiress, and you are nothing. Upon hearing this, his eyes widened uncontrollably. I linked my arm through Marcus's, and we exchanged a smile. Husband, let's go get registered. The moment the official stamp was pressed, Ethan's desperate cries came from behind us. I linked my arm through Marcus's, and on my tiptoes, in front of Ethan, I kissed Marcus on the lips. He cradled the back of my head, passionately kissing me back. Marcus couldn't wait to take me traveling across the country. We quickly booked plane tickets and flew to romantic Paris. He was far more excellent than I had imagined, taking care of me in every way. He truly made me feel cherished. Meanwhile, Ethan was already in a desperate situation. After the investigation, numerous criminal acts committed by Ethan were discovered. He had conspired with patients to engage in illicit activities. That day, the police arrived at his house to arrest him. However, Ethan, already aware of his criminal activities, had bought a plane ticket to go overseas in advance. But just as he boarded the plane, he was stopped by the domestic police. And his travel plans had been exposed by Lily. During this period, Ethan had constantly been abusive towards her, both physically and verbally. This ultimately led to the miscarriage of her child. The two had a fierce conflict. Lily rushed forward, screaming, desperately shaking him. Ethan, you lunatic. Why did you kill my child? You're a despicable murderer. Ethan, however, let out a cold laugh and pulled a paternity test results from a drawer. He let out a chilling sneer. Lily, you still claim the child in your belly is mine? Then look at this. Paternity test results show a 0% blood relationship? It's all because of you, you wretched woman. If it weren't for you, how would Grace and I have broken up? You're pregnant with someone else's child and still want me to be your fall guy? Dream on. Seeing the blatant evidence before her, Lily was too frightened to utter a sound, only begging desperately for mercy, but had no intention of letting her go and immediately beat her up. Lily struggled on the ground from the beating, covered in blood. Later, for revenge, she handed all of Ethan's criminal evidence to the police. When was arrested, he was still muttering my name, putting on a show of deep affection. Grace, I'm sorry. I failed you in this life. Wait for me to get out, I will marry you. Hearing that, I felt a wave of disgust. Inwardly, I prayed he wouldn't come back to torment me in this life. Later, I heard that Ethan committed suicide shortly after entering prison. It was said that he couldn't stomach the prison food and was quite high profile in his usual demeanor. He into a conflict with a prison kingpin. Unable to cope with the pressure, he jumped from a high place, ending his own life. As for Lily, having lost her financial support, she turned to illicit activities. Later, she contracted an STD and passed away too. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.